Yo, what's going on? It turns out our sales office has a dope ass podcast room that I didn't even know about. So I decided to take the opportunity. I've been in sales, high ticket sales for a very long time now. I've seen some really cool results personally. I helped a lot of other people do the same thing. And it's crazy because a long time ago, I dropped out of school, went all in on a space that didn't even really exist yet. And it's so cool how I work with so many people and it's like I coach them through making the same change that I did. Like I'll have guys who are like, yo, so like I'm making some money now and I'm thinking of dropping out of school. How should I talk to my parents about this? Because they know that I kind of had the same conversation with my parents who traditional background were super opposed to it. And like I'll like coach them through, hey, so like here's how you want to go with the conversation. And it's just crazy how like I've had that talk with so many reps now. So I thought I'd just hop on, kind of share my story, where I was at before I got into sales, why I made the decision to drop out, kind of where I was at the time, and maybe a little bit about what's happened since then. So I'll dive in. I mean, I come from a like pretty traditional background. Like my mom moved to Canada from Russia, single mom, 2 kids in a country that she didn't speak the language. Kind of a hard upbringing, but I'm blessed. Growing up, I was really instilled with like that whole 9-to-5 mentality, and I think everybody is. Like the past generation kind of just tells us to go get a job, go to school, and I think part of it too, it's like, everybody's parents doesn't really believe in their kid enough for them to go and do their own thing because, when you're 17, 18, like you're kind of an idiot, like you're just trying to figure shit out, so it's like, they tell you to go to school because it's almost like, it's like a social thing where it's like, oh, if your kid doesn't go to school as a parent, you did something wrong, right? And then it almost becomes like this personal issue that your parents deal with that they impose upon you. And then they force you to go to school and, that leads to you, going down this path where you live a life that like you never really wanted to live. And, I was in a business school, but like, I just knew from the moment I was there that it's not really where I wanted to be, like growing up, I was an athlete, played a lot of sports. I never really cared about school, to be honest. I was never like super studious or, super intelligent. I just knew I wanted more. I was always about money. Like even like I got my first sales job, which I didn't even realize was a sales job at the time, when I was in grade 9. So like 15, 16, when like it wasn't even legal for me to work, but there was this like shady sales office that I got a gig at, just because I wanted to make money, I was doing freaking phone book cold calls. For anybody who knows what that's like, shout out to you. I was always like, I used to be a dishwasher in school, and I would take on as many hours as I could. I was lazy when I was there. I would do the minimum, but I was trying to make money. I was a lifeguard for a long time. I was, especially when I was like 17, 18, I tried drop shipping. I tried, reselling shoes. I had this, I don't even want to call it a business because it made no money, but like I spent probably like $5,000-$6,000 on like a whole setup so that I could resell shoes. I was always trying to get money. I was always trying to make money. Even though I was broke, I always knew that I needed to go get money. And the thing is, for me, it's like sales was never something I expected to get into, because even when I was in business school, like I was always pretty like introverted. I was always pretty to myself. Insecurities, same like any, 17, 18, 19-year-old has, right? Never super outgoing, fear of rejection, all of that. So like at the time, it was like the reason why I got into sales, when my business partner, Dylan, my business partner now, when he kind of approached me about all this, it was literally like, how can I just make money? I wasn't thinking I want to drop out. I wasn't thinking I want to go build an agency and help hundreds of people get into sales. Like I was thinking like, hey, how can I make like $1,000 a month? Because at the time, like I was literally eating 1 meal a day because I couldn't afford more than that, because I spent everything trying to run my sneaker reselling business, Yeah, I mean, long story short, I'm in school. The whole time I'm there, I'm realizing, hey, like I'm on a path to going somewhere that I don't want to be. Like I'm on a path to getting some bullshit 9-to-5, working for some, accounting company or something like that. And it's like, I saw all the people around me. It's like, they just like, I saw the game that was being played by all these people, like the whole corporate game where it's like, hey, like you got to kiss ass. You got to go to these bullshit like networking events. You got to set up a LinkedIn profile and do this resume shit. And it's like, I never really resonated with that. I was never excited by that. And it actually gave me a lot of dread, like thinking like, hey, like this is where I'm at. This is the path that I'm on. And at the time, like I saw no other way, because it's like, you see so much shit online, and then, you entertain it where it's like, oh, a drop shipping business or trading or whatever, but like you don't really feel that it's real, like it doesn't really feel like something that's, and I was really lucky because my business partner, Dylan, he introduced me to sales when I was halfway through my first year of school. And he was already seeing success. Like he was already, at the time, I think he was doing like 30, 40 grand a month in commissions, if not more, honestly, selling for a high ticket offer. This was in 2019. Like the industry didn't exist yet, So I'm from Canada, and a lot of the leads that we were calling, we were selling an e-commerce program, e-commerce coaching, a couple $1,000. And we're selling it mainly to people in the US. So we're getting leads coming in. I was doing this part-time on the side. We bought a phone off of Kijiji, which is basically like the Canadian version of Craigslist. We bought a phone. It was a Samsung S5, like cracked up. I think I bought it for $50. I went down to Walmart and bought a SIM card, US Canadian SIM card, unlimited call and text, I think for like $50 a month, which is a lot of money for me at the time. Honestly, like I was scraping by. And I shared this phone with this SIM card with 3 other people. And it was like always a battle. Like time on the phone, I always felt like I needed more time, like if I was closing deals and like the other 2 people who weren't closing deals wanted the phone, I'd be like, no, motherfucker, like you're not closing, like I'm driving revenue, and like we would always have fights about it. After probably about 6 months of doing sales on the side, probably about 4 months of doing sales on the side, because I started December 2019 and then COVID hit around April of 2020. They sent everybody home when I went all in and full time, right? I spent a few months literally, like once that happened, that was honestly a blessing. Like that was great timing, because I already had a couple months under my belt. They sent everybody home. I cheated on all my exams and I was just doing 12 hours a day of sales calls in my bedroom. And like I was making good money. Like I was doing like, 5 to 8 grand a month, at that time. And like around summer of, I think it was like July or August of 2020, I was already making good money. It looked like the next semester they were going to keep everybody at home. I realized that like I don't need, like I was talking to my mom about this the whole time. Like she wasn't happy with it. But I realized like I don't need my parents' permission. I don't need my friends' permission. A lot of my friends were telling me the same thing, like stay in school, don't do it, it's stupid. But I realized I don't need anybody's permission. Like I was doing something that I loved. I was genuinely enjoying it. Like I got over a lot of those initial insecurities and I was doing good, I was making good money. I was having fun while I was doing it, and I was actually helping people. So like I built up the confidence within myself to take that step and to drop out and to take control of my life and to take control of my future. And that's really the biggest message that I give to a lot of my younger reps who are, maybe making that transition in their life. Everybody wants to go and make 10, 20, 30 grand a month. Everybody wants that lifestyle that like you see online that looks really cool. But the only way to get there is to take control. Like how do you expect to go and earn multiple 6 figures if like you can't even stand on your own 2 feet and you can't make serious decisions for yourself? And not everybody can. Not everybody's ready for it. Like you're talking about life-altering stuff, but it's like I'm really just sitting down and kind of going off the top, making this video, just trying to speak to. And maybe there's someone there that kind of in that same spot. I think you need to take control. You don't need to prove it to anybody else, but you do need to prove it to yourself to such an extent that you don't care what anybody else has to say. You don't care if there's any doubters, if anyone tells you not to do it, you can just move regardless, right? But yeah, I mean, after that, like when I made that clean break from school and I really, owned the fact that, hey, I'm going all in on sales and it's 100% commission and, nobody's going to close the deals for me. And like, I got to perform at my highest self every day. Like once I owned that and I really was able to tap into a groove and build some momentum, we built out our team, we got our office here in Toronto, we started taking on more clients. As the years passed, I mean, now like I reached a point where my first 12 months in sales, I cleared just about $100,000 Canadian in commissions, which was awesome. And basically every year since then, I've just been doing more and more and more. Especially over the past 2 years, I'd say, kind of out of necessity, I've had to take on a bit more of a leadership role in my company at a young age. I'm turning 23 now in a couple days. I'm managing guys who are double my age. I'm training guys in their 30s, 40s, 50s, and helping them go and achieve some of the same things that I've achieved, if not achieve more. I wanted to make money. I think I was driven by a lot of insecurity in the beginning. It's like I felt like, hey, if I just go and like hustle and grind, like I'll be able to fill like, you know, a lack of self-worth and all of that. And then like once I kind of overcame that, it really just became, okay, like I'm good at something, you know, I can actually help people. And, you know, over the past few years, like we've really been able to do that. And like that's what gets us up every day. That's what gets me making, you know, the content now. It's like we were lucky enough to get into the space basically before anybody else did. Like we built up a really great track record. We've built up a lot of reputation. We have access to a lot of connections, a lot of really cool sales opportunities where it's like people can come in, like train hard, learn what we do, and, you know, start making like 5, 6, 7, 10, 15, 20 grand a month working remotely within a few months of starting. You know, like it's insane. So I guess what I'm trying to like really show you is that like I got into this with basically zero proof that I would ever be able to see any kind of success. Never super outgoing, always pretty socially awkward in, you know, social situations. Still am sometimes, but like I'm way better at it. You know, like nothing really going for me, but I made a decision early on that I wanted to go all in. You know, I made a decision, I'm gonna spend the next 3 to 5 years going all in. I'm not gonna think about anything else. I'm gonna do it alongside people who are already making the kind of money I want to make, you know, which was Dylan at the time, kind of following along in his footsteps. And, you know, just through that hard work, like it wasn't always like super hot. There were months where it was down. There were months where I doubted myself, where I thought I would quit. There were people ahead of me on the leaderboard month after month after month. It would piss me off. But, you know, just that mentality of like, hey, like sales, it's the highest paid skill set in the world. I knew that for a fact from day one. And I knew if it's the highest paid skill set in the world, if I go all in on it, focus on nothing else, and if I do it side by side with my mentor, now my business partner, Dylan, then it would be impossible for me to lose. And it turned out I was 100% correct. And I just think there's like so much information out there. It's so easy to get lost. It's so easy to get confused with like, what's the best opportunity? What do you do? Who do you listen to? And then people end up just doing nothing. You know, if there's one message that I would give you, it's to, you know, block out the noise, block out all the crap, block out 99% of people's opinions unless they're in the position that you want to be in, and just make a decision to go all in, to commit, and to, you know, pick up a new lifestyle. And once you do that, I find it very hard to fail, no matter where you start from, you know? So hopefully you got value out of this. Hopefully maybe this will inspire you to take action and to, you know, really dive into the world of sales, whether it's high ticket sales, which is what we do, whether it's any other kind of sales. I think if you're young and you're hungry, you're ambitious, you're trying to make some serious money, you're trying to create some freedom, you're trying to build skills, you're trying to maybe one day get into entrepreneurship, like no question, go find yourself a 100% commission job, find a mentor, find a sales leader in your area that you can shadow and work with, go all in and you'll make it happen. Just outlast the, you know, people who get in who aren't as serious as you. You know, there's gonna be so many people who want it quick. There's gonna be so many people who will tap out at the first sign of hardship. Just be the person that doesn't, you know? Like that's what I did, that was my strategy. And just by doing that, just by outlasting, outworking, out hustling, you know, I've gotten to a pretty cool spot in my early 20s, and it's only up from here. So stay tuned for the journey. You're gonna be seeing tons of new content. You're gonna be seeing myself and my team leveling up, doing a bunch of cool things. And if you wanna join us for the ride, you know, check out some of our case studies, check out some of our stuff, or student interviews, and you can probably find a way to get in contact with us. If you can't, maybe sales isn't for you. But anyways, peace, and I will see you on the next one.